I think trees are really the most magnificent organisms on Earth. Trees link the earth and sky. There are these connectors between the mundane world of where we walk every day and the sky, which has this sense of the celestial, of something that's bigger than ourselves. Very often, especially in cloud forests, you get this amazing growth of plant life, these what are called epiphytes that live on the branches of trees. And when those epiphytes die and decompose, they create this arboreal soil. And in that soil, you might get a bird that drops a fig fruit. And in that fruit are some seeds, and that seed can germinate and grow up in the canopy. And at some point, it starts moving its roots down the trunk of the tree. At first, they're just little skinny roots. Sometimes they're just suspended in midair, and you just see these roots sort of going down, down, down through the air until they hit the forest floor. And once they hit the forest floor, they start getting access to the nutrients and water on the ground, and so they start growing more rapidly. The ones that are sort of pressed to the trunks of the trees get fatter and fatter until they actually surround the tree in all dimensions. And so over time then, they probably are better at gathering light and gathering nutrients from the soil, and the host tree, the original tree, then dies and decomposes, and sometimes you get a completely hollow strangler fig. The strangler figs are a really important structural and compositional part of the forest. They foster tremendous diversity in terms of the resources that they offer birds and mammals. In terms of their architecture, they sort of dominate and poke out of the general canopy, and you see these crowns just sort of emerging out of the forest as a whole.
No sé dónde se quiere poner, como adentro del bosque o aquí.
Porque si estás por allá no va a haber buenas tomas.
Pero vos dices que se puede subir por aquí.
Sí.
Nosotros subimos con el sistema de anclaje. Alguien que está dando belay. La persona va subiendo y pasa de un ancla con un mosquetón. Entonces así te aseguras. Y así a medida que vas subiendo vas poniendo las anclas. Te sientes muy emocionado, tienes mucha curiosidad y no sabes qué va a suceder.
I'm kind of scared of heights, and I've learned to trust my gear and everything, but when you're that high up off the ground and that scared, there really is very little room for your mind to be on anything else, you know.
Es un miedo emocionante. Me hace sentir muy viva estar en contacto con otro ser vivo y es algo riesgoso, pero satisfactorio.
I didn't grow up in Monteverde, but a lot of the people we've been climbing with did, and you can see how naturally it comes to them. You know, they've been doing this their whole lives. They just grew up with these trees and scurry up them, and like it's no big deal. If he could, I think Izzy would just live in the trees.
My name is Izzy. I grew up exploring, and yeah, today I continue to do that. I've ended up focusing my life on testing my limits outside.
I don't think I know anyone who is as passionate about nature as Rafi. He is a walking encyclopedia of nature facts.
Ooh. Ooh, fuck.
I guess the only other thing you could compare it to is, well, of course, rock climbing. But for me, it's really different. It feels more alive.
Me encanta interactuar así con mis amigos, de estar todos arriba en un árbol, estar en una hamaca apreciando el sunset, escuchando los pájaros. Y eso es un regalo de vida para mí.
Our crew is filled with nature lovers, I think, more than anything, and an incredible respect for the place we have.
I can kind of appreciate how unique this experience is. Not everybody does this, you know, not everybody has these amazing trees in their backyards. Most of the time we spend in the forest is just on the forest floor, and we're observing everything that's happening above us from the ground. But when you're in a tree, you are right there with the birds, with the insects and the butterflies that live up there. You know, some of these species, that is their whole world. They never go down to the forest floor, you know. And so to be able to be up there and see and feel what it's like in their world is really special. Each tree kind of has a different feel, and we've kind of given names to each ones, and they each have their own vibe.
Even before I started using gear on trees, that was always the scariest, biggest, funkiest tree. The first time we climbed up to the top, it was on the top side of it. And then we started experimenting with the underside of the tree, the intense overhanging route where you have to carry all your weight completely, sometimes just on your hands. It's a tough one.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Just I dig it.
Climbing.
Dude, that climb is insane. Oh my god.
Yeah. Got it. Oh, nice, man. Nice work.
Oh! Oh, brother. Yeah. Woo, woo.
It's very diverse climbing, and everybody does it differently. But I guarantee you, everybody that's gone to the top has struggled.
My victory cookie.
There was almost nothing known about the forest canopy. In fact, my graduate committee said, well, why do you have to study the forest canopy? You know, there's so many questions on the ground. The canopy is just like the rest of the forest. But there was something in me that said, no, there's something different going on there. There must be a different microenvironment. The substrate of branches are really different than the forest floor. So I want to go up there and explore it.
The combination slingshot fishing pole is Nalini Nadkarni's own invention for shooting a line 100 feet up.
Yes.
But my passion are the plants, the so-called epiphytes, those plants that grow up on trees. They don't have roots that go into trunks nor to the forest floor, but rather it is their leaves that are adapted to intercept the dissolved nutrients that come to them in the form of mist and fog.
And what you see is this soil, and it's just riddled with roots. It smells great. It's like this very earthy smell.
These epiphytes are not just these isolated little pockets of cool plants, but they're actually movers and shakers in the cycling of water, of nutrients. They're providing resources for birds. These plants, these epiphytic plants, are providing nectar with their flowers. They're providing fruits for birds that come and use them. They're providing substrates. This canopy soil is like full of invertebrates, full of insects, and even earthworms are up there. If you don't look in the canopy, you may overlook a part of the forest that's really fundamental to its functioning.
There's a series of branches pretty high up that go way to the left. One of them has a big fork leading to a trunk that goes almost overhead. So I'm going to shoot over where that fork is. We're studying epiphytes in the context of a changing climate. Epiphytes are ecologically very important. In the dry season here around Monteverde, when there's a lot of cloud water typically, those clouds will get absorbed by the epiphytes and then drip to the ground, which therefore provides a sustainable dry season source of really high quality water for people that live downstream. There's pretty good evidence that the clouds, which normally would bathe the forest here around Monteverde, are actually increasing in elevation because of temperature changes. We think that the epiphytes are pretty vulnerable to climate change in that as the clouds continue to rise, those epiphytes won't have access to direct cloud water inputs anymore.
Because of the silence of trees, because they don't move around, because they don't seem to behave, because they don't cry out. There's a sort of certain sensitivity that humans have to appreciate trees to the extent that they'll say, wait, we can't be so wasteful, we can't be so mindless. I don't think you necessarily have to have a scientific bent or know exactly what species of moss you're looking at. I think appreciating, understanding either intuitively or with your spirit is a great reason to climb.
It has been profound, the impact that this forest has had on me personally, and I think on all of us. Climate change is really one of the main reasons that we are climbing these trees, in the sense that we are creating the opportunity to connect in a really meaningful way with nature. Once people have made that connection, then they can start to care.
Dude, this is gonna be a disaster of a climb, and I can feel it already.
Okay, good luck. Enjoy.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Oh, that's so slippery.
Very old trees seem to be harder to climb, you know, which is something funny. I feel like the older the tree is, the more knowledge it has of the forest, and the more it makes you work to let you get that insight it has.
It's a bit difficult, not much to hold on to. And on top of that, you've got lots of stingless bees that are just annoying the crap out of you.
These bees! Ah! Ah! No! Get off! Get off me! Oh!
You got that.
Ah! Oh!
Yeah, do it.
I got nothing left, man. You can lower me. Oh. Okay, so
You brought him down with you, man.
I don't know how I slice it so bad, dude.
Thumbs up.
La comunidad de escalada está conformada por un grupo de jóvenes brillantes, auténticos. Es fascinante pasar tiempo con ellos, me inspiran y ellos también están inspirados. Somos de diferentes familias y trabajamos en diferentes áreas, pero compartimos lo que es la exploración y la escalada de árboles.
I'm so grateful that everybody's confident enough to to trust themselves and to be able to make a new sport, even if it's just like the 6 of us or however many we are. We can feed off of each other and help each other and spend weeks out there. It's awesome.
I think there's something about the shape of a tree that is universal. You think of cave systems, or you think of river systems that are so fundamental to the health of our earth. Those are all shaped like trees. The way my lungs are shaped and the way air flows into me and out of me, lungs are shaped like trees.
When I look into my heart, I see trees. This is actually an image of a real heart. There are trees in our hearts. There are trees in your hearts. When we come to understand nature, we are touching the most deep and the most important parts of ourselves.
It's not just this inanimate object. It's alive, and has been alive for many more years than I have. And will probably be alive for many more after that, right? After I'm not here.
I take something really personal with tree climbing. I enter the forest that I've grown up to love and appreciate, and little by little I find giants that you can tell they're alive and they've lived a way longer life than you have or ever will. And you have a chance to step into its world, into its life and play a small little minuscule part of its life, but you get to share a moment together, So many trees take part in this beautiful forest, and realizing that every new tree we climb is so beautiful in its own way, and it just makes you think that how much infinite beauty there is that will never be appreciated. And I like that, I like knowing that humans aren't gonna get everywhere.
by being able to climb with kids in their backyard, being able to give them and facilitate this incredible experience has been so special. What do I do? Think about it! Hopefully we can start sharing this message and this mindset of connecting and giving back to the forest. Nice! Especially as we experience climate change, now more than ever is the time we need to be studying this ecosystem. By giving more people the tools to safely and respectfully, sustainably spend time in the canopy, that then opens up a whole plethora of new possibilities.
Oink, oink.